Nema ule ko nyatipe abaje domelevo adu ko nu domelevo yeah mejolo.
You should know by now. I like it like I like it like I like it like satisfy my soul. You should know. You should know by now. I like it like I like it like I like it like satisfy my soul. You should know. I am not get webby. I mean, what can you know? But Bibi Kakraka were chilling and made it so and son, Vice President of Abakasa. Already the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, one Fabian Sordo, the President of the Republic of Ghana was January 2025. President of Ghana 2025. Mr. Current Vice President, President to be, you are invited. Oh, yeah, ready. Also, yeah, ready. Madam, 1 second. 1 minute.
Your Excellency, I'm the moderator. My senior brother, Honorable, took the ring out of me. Yes. He said I invited. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. We members of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community completely disown the statement that the Honorable Katie Hammond has made. He has expressed his own desires. Political desire. Our desire is that leader who will lead Ghana once more. Who will lead Ghana once more into its position in the Committee of Nations, so that we can command that respect which Ghana is known for. That is the leader we pray to Allah, that Allah Ta'ala should give us that kind of leader. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala.
I'm happy to inform you, Mr. Speaker, that we have made significant progress. We requested an unprecedented number of bondholders to participate in a voluntary exchange, and we were able to exchange successfully some 203 billion cedis worth of bonds. Not only was the exchange successful, but it helped us to secure within 5 months, the shortest possible time in recent debt restructuring history, a staff-level agreement to an executive board agreement with the IMF. My gratitude goes to all financial sector players, organized labor, firms, regulatory institutions, and all individuals who made this painful exercise successful. Mr. Speaker, as you may recall, government successfully paid the first coupon of 2.3 billion cedis on the new bonds on 22nd August 2023. At the time, that was the single biggest payout of domestic payments in a single day for Ghana. We then paid 2 billion and 60 million cedis for the last leg of the domestic debt exchange on 5th September 2023. A week ago last Tuesday, on 20th February 2024, the second coupon of 5.8 billion cedis was paid to domestic bondholders. This is the largest coupon paid in a day in Ghana's history. On the external debt side, we achieved a significant milestone by reaching an agreement with our public creditors. And I'll use this occasion to express our appreciation to the Republic of France and the People's Republic of China, co-chairs of the Official Creditors Committee, for their positive roles in this achievement. We've also intensified our engagement with our external bondholders on the principles of transparency fair treatment, consistency with the IMF debt sustainability analysis, and good faith. We are focused and committed to accelerating the process.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, on such an auspicious occasion and considering the optimism with which Mr. President has spoken to the nation, and Mr. Speaker, you were right, and Mr. President himself acknowledged that considering the situation we find ourselves, we are down, but we rise again under the able leadership he is providing and the future which is assured. Mr. Speaker, we are, by the practice of this House, ready to debate Mr. President's message. Considering the situation we find ourselves as a country, Mr. Speaker, we are ready to debate this message now. However, Mr. Speaker, as has been the practice, members would want to prepare. And I noticed that the minority leader was jotting down a lot of notes. I need to remind him that I have with me the 2014, 2013, and the 2016 State of the Nation Address. And all of these were full of lamentations. So, Mr. Speaker, I don't know what he was actually jotting down. But if it was a debate he was preparing for, Mr. Speaker, I want to assure him that we will face him with this optimism and remind him of the lamentations of 2013, 2014, 2015, and 2016. Mr. Speaker, without more, I shall pray that this House be adjourned to tomorrow at 10 in the forenoon or soon thereafter. Mr. Speaker, I so move, and I urge my colleague to second the motion. That is a practice. He should second. He should just second. Today is not for debate. Mr. Speaker, fortunately for me, my mentor and coach is still available. I'll still take tutorials. Yes, indeed. Yes, that is true. There was a smooth transition. There was a smooth transition. We had a smooth transition. We had a smooth transition. We had a smooth transition. Mr. Speaker, I am encouraging Dr. Foster to only second this motion. The rules of the House are very clear. It shouldn't go outside of the rules. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Atu Foster, please second the motion and let's adjourn.
Honorable members, honorable members, honorable members, honorable members.
Right Honorable Speaker, let me, on behalf of the NDC minority, thank His Excellency the President for his message on the state of our nation. But Mr. Speaker, the unemployment situation in our country is at a critical point. Yet, we did not hear a word from our President on this matter. Mr. Speaker, out of 33 million population, only 11.3 million are employed. This number includes peasant farmers. Mr. Speaker, the difference every 3 Ghanaian is unemployed. Mr. Speaker, 30% of our youth are jobless. And about 4.5 million Ghanaians plus, employable Ghanaians plus, are outside the labor force. Mr. Speaker, this simply means that this number have simply given up on their search for jobs because of years of frustration and disappointment. Mr. Speaker, the state of our nation is hopeless. No wonder that an ordinary Ghanaian, including professionals, are leaving our shores in droves. In droves, in search for greener pastures. Mr. Speaker, finally, Mr. Speaker, I am scandalized. I am shocked to the marrow to have not.
Honorable members.
Mr. Speaker, $1 today is 13 cedis. During the time of President Mahama, $1, 3 cedis, 80 pesos. Mr. Speaker, to conclude on this matter, Ghanaians voted for Vice President and are paying for the Vice President to support you to succeed. Mr. Speaker, you cannot fail. The President cannot fail alone. The President will have to fail together with the Vice President. So, Mr. President, you have failed with your Vice President. Mr. Speaker, I conclude by saying that Ghanaians will not miss President Akufo-Addo and Alhaji Bawumia.
Was it the present state of the? Was it the present state of the nation address or campaign message for Dr. Bawumia?
Why did I say that?
I think that the president came to launch the campaign of his determined successor, rather than deliver a state of the nation address. Our country, the economy is in peril. Ghanaians are going through unacceptable, excruciating hardships. The president ought to have apologized to Ghanaians that I came 7 years ago promising to redeem you and to end your suffering. I have failed in ending that suffering, and therefore I'm sorry. Then conspicuously lost in the president's speech was any agenda to combat and fight corruption and economic graft. That's very disappointing. Persons are acquiring wealth that cannot be justified. You have seen them spend $12 million of Ghana's money on foiled Ajepa. And a few years ago, 51 million Ghana cedis Wyoming money, judgment debt was news. $12 million multiplied by 12 Ghana cedis is over 120 billion. So what has become of us after setting up a judgment commission? So the president was very high. I'm sure he came to deliver a state of the message on the Bawumia wanting to succeed me, and I want Bawumia to succeed. In any case, fact be told that Dumsor never ended in the hands of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Dumsor ended under Mahama. He took responsibility, he fixed it. And then in terms of our generation capacity, he's benefiting from what Mahama and other administrations added. He just added nothing. So it was more a state of Bawumia's campaign than a state of the nation address.
Well, you just cited the honorable member for Boku Central. The president started his speech by telling us exactly what the security situation is, what the government is doing to tackle the security situation in Boku. He also indicated that some specialized courts will be set up to enable the Chief Justice adjudicate cases, criminal cases related to the Boku conflict. So we are going to engage the Boku Central MP shortly, Honorable Mahama Ayariga, to tell us exactly what he makes of the president's comment on Boku and the security situations there. Welcome to Metro TV, sir.
Well, I mean, it's most unfortunate because the president and his team had all the opportunities under the sun to prevent the situation in Boku from occurring.
a great sense of pride. Mr. Speaker, his address showed that we have taken to get to where we are. The president is championing, and this has borne some fruits for us. This we did by undertaking a comprehensive debt restructuring program on both our domestic and our external debts. Mr. Speaker, we completed the domestic debt exchange in February, and we saw about 95% participation rate. So far, so good, Mr. Speaker. We have managed to pay all our coupons. After some hitches at the beginning of the program, we've managed to pay all our coupons, and as we speak, in August 2023, we paid the first tranche of the coupon. That was 2.36 billion Ghana cedis. Another coupon was paid in September of 2 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, just last week, the 20th of February, we saw a huge chunk of our coupon being paid of 5.8 billion Ghana cedis. This is the largest in the history of our nation. And this is telling us that, yes, we are bringing back the confidence in the secondary market. And Mr. Speaker, I want to use this opportunity to encourage all Ghanaians to participate in the long end of the market and not just the short end, because we have brought back the confidence in the secondary sector. Mr. Speaker, you also heard the President say that as a result of this, certain priority projects have been transferred onto the GOG budget with the same fiscal space to enable us to complete these projects. And this one, I'm very, very happy to see children from La Dade Kotopong, just to tell them and to let them know that the hospital in La, an alternative source of funding has been found. And so, the hospital in La is going to be completed. So the children who came from La Dade Kotopong, go and tell your people that this government is bent on completing the La General Hospital. Again, the government said it is going to complete, as a result of this, it is going to complete the Kumasi International Airport, which is just about 98% complete. This we will also see in May, which will be delivered to Parliament on Tuesday, 27th February. NDC. Hey.
There you went to Parliament of Ghana. Why did you do that? Parliament was in session, they are debating the State of the Nation address, and you got your men out there to disconnect the arm of government, I mean, the legislature. Why so?
You said Parliament was working.
Yes.
What was ECG doing?
ECG was working.
Okay, next question.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our joy, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame.
If you reach a certain stage in life and there is nobody who can look you in the eye and tell you the truth, you are doomed. And that is where our country has gotten to. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. And I feel very terrible as a Ghanaian at this time. This country is in serious trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in serious trouble. We need to rescue this country, ladies and gentlemen. The presidency has been so depraved, so muddied, so dirtied, that I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian, that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi, inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our country.
Government is broke, government is broke. The people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now. Government is broke, government is broke. The people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
Right, hello, good morning and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. As of Friday, the first day of March 2024, by His grace, we're live and we're here. We're at another edition of the show. Our gratitude will go to the Most High God for the rare privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making rounds here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly. But let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers as we also celebrate Ghana Month on Metro TV, Original TV, and Original 91.9 FM. Daily Graphic. It's John and Jane again. Amend law to provide compensation for defiled victims. Judge. Assent to LGBTQ plus bill. Christian Council others appeal to President. Supreme Court dismisses child rights suit on streetism. The Ghanaian Times. Ex-President Mahama's running mate for 2024 election. It's Prof. Jane Opoku Ajiman again. Global effort vital in tackling migration. President Akufo-Addo. Mixed reactions great passage of LGBTQ plus bill. Faith-based organizations, traditional authorities, others welcome it, while human rights activists, including U.S., kick against it. Parliament begins SONA debate. Royal Cozy Hills Hotel CEO murder case adjourned to March 13. Daily Guide. Mahama picks Jane again. Mixed reactions great anti-gay bill. SML doubles GRA petroleum revenue. Nana Anes Yakubu Tali. Don't impose parliamentary candidate on us, La NPP. New Weekend Crusading Guide. Fallout from passage of anti-LGBTQ bill. Fuamweni dares gay activists to go to court. Housing Ministry holds retreat to outline 2024 priorities. Asim Fosu holds bed for human trafficking and bank fraud. IOCO. Accreditation opens for Third African Media Convention. Apollonia residents enraged. Accuse police national security of protecting land guards. The Insight. We want election, not imposition of parliamentary candidate, La NPP. Electricity disconnected over 23 million Ghana cedis debt as power outage disrupts Parliament's debate on President Akufo-Addo's SONA. Supreme Court dismisses case seeking to clear street children. U.S. slammed for providing Israel with license to kill Palestinians in Gaza. The Herald. Central Region under intense scrutiny in NDC as Mahama maintains 32-year-old tradition amidst consents. US CSO's clergy added strap Akufo-Addo in anti-gay brawl. Supreme Court sets date for new Kaleo chief case. Chief Imam presents 14-point Muslim Manifesto to Mahama and NDC. Apollonia residents alarmed at police and land guards invasion. GRA appeals to political parties not to scrap e-levy. The Informer. Politicians behind organized crime, Yoko reveals. Corruption, now chameleon in Ghana, Ghana Integrity Initiative. Nigerians will manage plant, Jospong Group. Health danger as world experiences cholera vaccine shortage. And editor's mom goes home. So that's the mother of the editor-in-chief of the Informer, and he can come. He's lost his mom, Obapenyin Gladys Ikuamua, and she will be laid to rest this weekend. So our commiserations to you, Andy can come. The Inquisitor, Baomia's running mates, Pentecost in Quirky plot. Sona 2024 to forcing rebels Nana. MPs, ministers, government officials must touch base. Majority leader. 194,862 students could not honor their admissions despite free SHS. That's according to a report. And we'll be speaking with African Education Watch this morning on this issue. And it can come's mother Jenny's home tomorrow. The Daily Statesman. NDC lacks idea, says Baumia. Complete motorway project by October 2024. Ambulance service urges public to be wary of fake recruitment. Housing Ministry sets 2024 priorities. PURC announces significant reduction in electricity tariffs. The Daily Searchlight. 3 hospital beds for a population of 9,000 at Yahima. Authorities call for help. Deadly trade. Thieves vandalize ECG transformers, steal copper windings at Achim Asine. Prioritize local languages. NCCE to Education Ministry. Inmates commit suicide in police cells. The Fourth Republic has been resilient. Zaneto Rawlings. Ladade Kotopo NPP balls over decision to impose parliamentary candidate. The New Finder. Sorghum production bolstered with Guinness Ghana's significant investments. Housing Ministry outlines 2024 priorities at retreat. Dumso hits Parliament as minority task government to fix it. Fidelity Bank MD touts positive impact of Ghana card on financial sector. Daily Post. Mahama promises to include private secondary schools in free SHS program. It's a tragedy that Akufo-Addo became president of Ghana, Suhini. Be transparent with Ghanaians on current power crisis, Kofi Bua to government. And finally, the good old Catholic standard. Politics not dirty, President Akufo-Addo calls for peaceful elections. Catholic Church committed to poor and vulnerable, Nancio. Bishop Asari asked priests and religious leaders to be more friendly. Unemployment rate in Ghana rising. Editorial, kudos Electoral Commission for listening to the voice of the electorate. And that's about it for the front pages. We'll be back shortly.
Pascal is showing his boss the efficient new technology they've installed. She is pleased, but now she's asking, why is that still there? Pascal explains that he hired a security guard to protect the data shed. The boss is not so pleased anymore. If you haven't upgraded to cloud storage yet, it's time to get business done better with MTN Business.
Welcome to help roots of your labor, they say. But as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models those with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
For over 20 years of serving the world with herbal and alternative medicine, we've been successful in treating complicated medical conditions with a perfect combination of herbal and alternative methods of treatments like homeopathy, naturopathy, reflexology, and many more. We deliver excellent and effective service to people from all walks of life through scientific and traditional means. We have a well-equipped laboratory with advanced diagnostic and treatment devices to help detect your illness, so we know the right medication to be given. At Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital, we are proud manufacturers of our own herbal medication. Our zeal and passion to save lives with our patients at heart and outstanding achievements since 1996 has won us several awards. That is why we say, go herbal, go Amen. We are located everywhere in all the regions. Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital. Allahu Shafi. God is the He.
How far with your internship?
To be honest, I'm so nervous about starting this new role on Monday.
Oh, please. I know you'll be great at it. You should be worried about what benefits they have. Example, do they have health insurance?
I doubt they will have that for internet. But no shaking. I have NHIS already.
After you're on a line, ting.
Ina, look at you. What are you going to do in the office when you can just download the app to register for an NHIS membership?
Yes, my people. You heard right. You can now download and register your membership on my NHIS app. No long queues or tedious paperwork. All you need is your Ghana card to register for yourself and for others. Once you register, you get a new digital NHIS card on your phone. My NHIS app gives you access to credentialed health facilities and services across the country. NHIS covers over 95% of disease conditions in Ghana. Access to healthcare just got easier.
Now let me sign up quickly. Please, Seth, I'm starting work next month.
We are back, bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two, with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bets. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the Partial Daily Jackpot. You always get way more with Betway.
This advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
The biggest car center in Ghana, offering unparalleled round-the-clock service in autos and accessories. Nadam Autofix is the biggest distributors of used tires in Ghana, offering first-grade second-hand car tires of all rim sizes at both wholesale and retail prices. We are also the leading name in car sensor diagnostics, corrections and sales of car accessories. We excel in car washing and detailing with state-of-the-art steam engine washing machines that keep water away from your engine, ensuring a clean, healthy and responsive engine. Nadam Autofix, the first name in servicing, car accessories and car washing. Visit us today and experience the world of class difference. Find us today at Asoridaho, directly opposite Dansoman KFC and the Shell filling station. For more details, you can call us on 0503 244 266 or 0535 339823. Nado Motofix. Wukwain Sunyonko Papa.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. With me on the show this morning is the Vice Chairman of Baumia 2024 and front runner for running mate outside Ashanti. Nana Akumia is here with me on the show. Nana, good morning.
Good morning, Randy.
I got it right.
I can see you in your Friday mood.
It's Ghana month. Also with me on the show this morning is a man who has now taken the fight to the Africa Games. He's the son of man, the Member of Parliament for the North Town constituency, also ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee in Parliament, the Honorable Samuel Kujeto Ablakwa. Samuel, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Doc. How are you doing?
By the special grace of God.
Good morning, Nana.
Well.
Good morning, Samuel.
All right, so imagine getting rewarded for doing something you already do every single day. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, that's exactly what Momo Season is all about. There's something for everyone. Download the Momo app on Play Store or App Store and use Momo Pay for your day-to-day transactions. To a merchant, either through the QR code or merchant ID, and stand a chance of winning 1,000 cedis weekly and other amazing prizes. The merchants are also not left out of the reward. Receive payments and win. Keep using your Momo Pay on the Momo app and get rewarded. There are lots and lots of exciting prizes for everyone. So what are we doing today? Transact more with Momo Pay, earn more points, and win big this Momo season. Visit Momo Merchant, application.mtn.com.gh for your Momo for Business account today. It's Momo season, so just Momo it with Momo Pay. Terms and conditions apply. And use Kel Kids toothpaste flavored with strawberry. That gives a perfect taste for kids and makes them develop a personal attitude and love for brushing their teeth always. Kel Kids toothpaste protects child's gum, prevents cavities, and makes the teeth strong and healthy with freshness all day. Kel Kids toothpaste is recommended for children between 2 and 6 years old. It's a product from Samara Company Limited, producers of Sasso, and is approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. Kel Kids, happy smile. And the pains of climbing the stairs when not exercising could be challenging for all ages, but worry no more. Lift and elevators have got you covered with the best portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators on the market today. It's a simple self-supported elevator for both homes and offices, and guess what? It can lift your goods too. Wheelchairs can fit in, and they come in 3 custom-made models. It's affordable and can be installed within 3 days. Visit Lift and Elevators at Sakumon, or just call them on 0200-535-515, or send a mail to elevatorsgh@gmail for consultations and the best solutions in easy vertical movements. Amen Scientific and Herbal, an alternative medical hospital, is organizing a free health screening, and it's open to the general public. This is a way of saying thank you to Ghanaians. What's more rewarding than this? The free screening includes fertility tests, prostate, stroke, diabetes, hypertension, fibroid, ulcers, hepatitis B, and many more. Note that the medical screening is free, but patients with disease conditions will pay a token for their medications. Visit Amen Scientific at Domin near the Snake Flats down or Clagon near the Sherman Under Bridge and all the other branches across the country. You can call Amen Scientific on 020-722-9505 or 0244-227192 to book your appointments. Amen Scientific and Alternative Medical Hospital. Allahu Shafi, God is the healer. All right. So, gentlemen, we'll start off with yes.
The adverts that you just did.
Yes, the LPMs.
So one about toothpaste.
Kel Kids.
Kel Kids. Said they have the endorsement of the Food and Drugs
Authority.
And they made a claim that the toothpaste whitens teeth.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
And this has got the endorsement of the Food and Drugs.
Yes.
That the toothpaste whitens teeth.
Yes.
That's not true.
What is not true?
That toothpaste whitens teeth.
The toothpaste
doesn't whiten. Freshens your breath. It's fine. But they have to be careful about this adverts.
But all the claims they make are claims that have been corroborated by the Food and Drugs Authority.
Where's the letter?
Without that, you want me to produce the letter on this show?
I'm saying I've never seen toothpaste that whitens teeth.
Yeah, so
when you want to whiten your teeth, you go to the dentist and they do.
The fact that you have not seen.
Have you seen
does
one
not
before?
mean that. Yes, there are toothpaste on the market that whitens teeth.
Which one?
There is.
Which one?
Why should I mention a product? I'll be advertising a product.
Okay.
Yes.
So the one you advertise, it whitens teeth.
No, but Nana, this...
I'm going to buy one, and if it doesn't whiten, I'll come and charge you.
Nana, but this is very, very unfair.
Why?
To the product and the company.
No, it's not.
The product and the company have gone through the process. The statutory agencies have sanctioned the advert. Are you aware that before you advertise, all the claims you make, your advert itself is approved by the FDA?
Okay.
So the claims you make in the advert are approved by the FDA.
Okay.
Without that, you cannot make those claims.
Have you seen the proof?
Without that, we will not accept the advert.
Have they brought you the letter from FDA?
Yes.
Okay.
Without that, the marketers will not put it here.
Okay. And the FDA has a monitoring team. So
let me even tell you, last year,
they follow all these.
Last year, on a program,
advertisements.
On a program on this station, a program, they had a resource person. In the course of the discussion, I think it was by a health condition or something, then this resource person apparently owns one of these alternative medical hospitals. Then he referred to a product which cures or deals with an ailment. Now, apparently, at the time that he made that claim on our program, the product had not been approved by the FDA. The FDA wrote to us. They fined us. We had meetings with them. They insisted we have to pay the fine. And we paid the fine.
Okay. My matter is very simple. You have the letter.
No, Nana, all I'm telling you is that for you, Nana, this is very serious.
I'm asking.
No, Nana, for
if
you
have it,
please listen to me carefully.
I don't think
even with your, you see,
a station,
even with your background in advertising,
like
all I'm saying is that, you see, what you have done to the company, you will not, or the product, you will not be able to reverse it, to take it back. All I'm telling you that it is unethical for you to have raised that issue on air.
I'm hoping their competitors haven't seen you, Nana.
No, Sammy, the issue has been raised on air. And the issue is that this product does this.
Yes.
And I'm saying that, do they have the sanction?
No, but I'm telling you that we will not.
And I'm saying, fine.
You know, first of all, you didn't even ask that. You made a categorical statement.
Yes.
That
toothpaste.
It is yes, it can't do that.
Yes.
And if you go to the shelves, you will see toothpaste that advertise whitening.
Yeah, they are there. They always make that claim.
But you see, that's why I'm raising the point.
No, if you disagree and you are a biochemist or a pharmacist or a scientist and you have a medical basis to raise those issues, that's a different thing. But I think that is very unfair to a product that has gone through the protocols, has had a statutory body approve it, and then you take the opportunity of being on TV to run it down.
I haven't run it down.
You have.
No,
Nana, you have.
No. I have raised...
No, you have.
Concern.
You have.
One second. I have raised concern about the claim. And you are saying that it's in order. I said, fine. So after here, we'll check. That's all.
But do you want to do some damage repair?
Because, no, I just raised concern. And you see, it's not just
people spend a lot of money to go through
I don't have a problem with that.
These approvals by the FDA and then to advertise.
You agree that the claims must be claims that pass muster. Now,
that is why you and I were in Parliament. We have passed laws to make sure that there are regulatory bodies who do that work. It's not for us to sit on TV. And once the regulators have passed them,
and Randy is saying that
they should give them the benefit of it.
And I'm saying that once I get that evidence. But you see, if you want me, you say I should be fair. To be fair, it's not just this toothpaste. Every toothpaste that you see on the shelf, they claim that it whitens teeth. I have had dentists tell me that that is not true. I know
it is on the basis of what you're.
I know it freshens breath and all of that, But this claim that all of them have that it whitens your teeth and blah 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 blah. Where are you toothpaste? Every time you want to jazz up your head, don't you go to?
So when you I'm just showing you a website. that will even show. This is global. That shows you toothpaste, 10 toothpaste that will whiten your teeth.
Which ones are those? So I can go and
No,
buy
I
some.
don't want to advertise any product, but they
Now,
are here.
what I'm going to do...
No,
I'm
they are
going to-
here. So
Listen.
the claim that there are no toothpaste or toothpaste cannot whiten teeth is false.
Because all the toothpaste that I use...
No, I'm just telling you that your phone, if you just Google it, these days information is free. You can get it. So the dentist who told you that there cannot be a toothpaste that whitens teeth, it probably does not understand his job.
Let me make my point simply.
Okay.
My experience is that I haven't found a toothpaste that whitens teeth. They freshen my breath and I like it. I haven't seen one. Now that you say there are some,
maybe it's
I'll
the
go and
products
try
that you use.
Yes.
So I'm forwarding this to you.
No, the one that you advertise, I'm going to buy one and try it.
Yes. No, this is for kids. What I just talked about is for kids. But they have the one for adults.
Which one is that?
That's the Kale Charcoal toothpaste.
For adults?
Yes, that's for adults.
I'll go and try it.
So
and if I try it and it doesn't work, you will refund the money. Because you are the country.
Okay.
But Sammy, you.
Yes.
Do toothpaste whiten your teeth?
You see, you people, you have already mismanaged this economy. There are small businesses that are surviving. You also want to collapse their business. I won't allow you to lead me to temptation. There are few businesses surviving now. Let's allow them to survive.
How is raising?
I don't think you are being fair.
How is raising a concern?
If you had done a generic concern, probably as part of discussions, not. What empirical work have you done? You know,
is dentist friend?
I'm just I'm just asking questions. That's all. Okay. So you can't ask a question.
Haven't you people collapsed enough businesses? The banks, the financial sector, some are relocated to Ivory Coast. You want to collapse more?
I ask you a simple.
I think this is renewed proximity to the vice president. I think it's not helping.
Listen, I ask you a simple question. I know you are.
I'm not going to answer.
Please. The time that you plead silence is strange.
I won't join you to collapse the few Ghanaian businesses surviving.
I just ask you. I ask you toothpaste.
No.
Tell me so that I can learn.
I don't work at the FDA. I don't work at the FDA.
I have a question each for both of you. FDA. Before we get into, I have a question each for both of you. And it's directly related to both of you. So I have a question each. So Nana, you are to my left, so I'll start with you.
Yeah.
What is this thing about people claiming that they are unaware of the appointment to your committees?
It's all over the place.
We've seen 3. Yesterday we saw a post too by Pakosi Asare says he's spoken to Mr. Kwame Pienim, who also says that he's unaware, nobody has spoken to him. What's happening? I'm sure you are aware of all of this.
It is a worry to hear people who have been mentioned as members of Manifesto teams coming out to say they are not aware. You know, we have the NPP has selected the heads of the various sectors of the manifesto.
Like the chairs.
So, the chairs. And sometimes the vice chairs. So, agric, industry and trade, transport, and the heads and the deputy heads have been announced. And they were inaugurated, I think, 2 days ago. Now, when you are the head of, say, sports, then you are supposed to compose the membership of your committee.
That's how it works?
Yes, you're supposed to. And then when let me not say compose, you're supposed to draw up the names and then bring it to a central committee to look at the names, and so that those people then become. Now, it seems that in the process of drawing up names, the names that have been drawn up leaks into the media. Now, after drawing up the names, you're supposed to come to the manifesto team with your names, and then the names will be approved. But that assumes that before you bring the names to the manifesto team, these are people you've spoken to and who have agreed to serve on the committees. in between that process, that drawing up the names and bringing it to the manifesto committee, it leaks. And then you have a few people saying we haven't been consulted. But the names, these are at the stage of proposals. So if I'm the chairman of, say, sports, I believe that Randy Abe will be useful, Asamoah Gyan will be useful, this person will be useful. So I draw up the list. I then have to speak to the people that I want to be on the committee. And then when I've gotten their agreement, I then bring the names to the center. Some too argue that when you have your proposed list, bring them to the center. Because if you went ahead to inform the people, if you went ahead and informed somebody that, I'd like you to serve on this committee, and the person agrees, and then you come to the central committee for approval, and approval is not given, then that would be an embarrassment to the person. But be that as it may, that process hasn't gone quite well. The names have been drawn up, and then they've been leaked. And so as I speak, I hear about 200 names to populate the various committees, and before they would come to the center for approval, the names have been leaked. And to the extent that key personalities have complained that they haven't been consulted, it means that there has been some over-excitement somewhere, which has not been useful.
What would explain the Mr. Kwame Pienim's one? Because that's not like a committee level. That's something.
Pienim has made a disclaimer.
Parker Asari put out a post that he spoke with him and he said that nobody consulted him on it.
I think that what the Manifesto committee, the campaign committee of which I'm a member, should...
you are the vice chair?
Yes, I'm the vice chair. Should take on the various sector heads, find out what has happened. I mean, there's somebody like Pienim. If you propose his name, obviously you haven't spoken to him. How did the name leak for him now to be hearing of his name in the media when he hasn't been spoken to? And some other key people. And it's not just those who have complained in the media. I have had good friends of mine.
In private?
In private. Tell me, look, I've seen my name in some lists because of the nature of my work. My name in a list like that would suggest a certain partisan activity and will help my work. I can offer suggestions from the background, but I wouldn't want my name. And I've had 2-3 people talk to me directly about it. So obviously, beyond those that have come out those who have made complaints publicly, there's quite a few more who haven't complained publicly, but who also obviously haven't been consulted. So the process, the way it should work out is that you are the chairman of, say, sports. You are supposed to draw up 10 names for the sports committee. You believe Randy Abe will be useful, so you put down Randy Abe. You believe Asamoah Gyan will be useful. You believe so and so will be useful. You are supposed, obviously, common sense. You have to speak to them and say, Charlie, I want you to be part of this thing if you have the time. And let them say yes. And then you bring your list to the central campaign team. And then we all look at it and we are happy with it. And then to make sure that the people are willing to bring their ideas on board. But obviously, before that process could be complete, the names have already gone out and people have not been properly consulted. And so you're having this public disclaimer. We would find out from the sector heads how it happened and then make sure it is corrected. Yeah. In fact, we have a meeting this afternoon at 11 o'clock.
Okay.
I'm sure it's one of the issues that we'll look at.
All right.
But you know,
yes.
Randy, I'm sure NDC too, you face the same problem when you come up with your. You've done your manifesto teams.
Yes.
Okay.
They were inaugurated.
They will not. But you haven't done the campaign
team. It's yet to be announced.
I mean, the big parties like NPP, NDC. It's so difficult composing these teams. Who do you leave out? Everybody believe, apart from the fact that they are stalwarts of the party, they believe that they also have some ideas to contribute. And so, if they don't find their name in a committee, sometimes the effect, I mean, it's, and I'm sure, Sami, you face the same issue in your party. There are so many people who are enthusiastic and they want to work for the party. And they want to work for the party in some official capacity. And when they don't find their names, I can tell you, big stalwarts of the party, they will moan literally in tears because they didn't find their name in one committee or the other. There's a lot of pressure, but we'll manage it. I'm hoping that this afternoon's meeting will look at it and will correct it.
Okay. All right. So, Sami, before I get to the question I have for you, I should have done this interview yesterday, but I shifted it to today. Now, EduWatch, the education think tank, they have released their first major review of the free SHS policy. And the study is titled The Financial Burden Analysis of Ghana's Free Senior High School Policy. And it's highlighted several key findings. One of them deals with the number of people who, despite gaining admission, did not access the free senior high school.
They didn't take up the admission?
They didn't take up. A huge number, as close to 200,000. And then there's also, they raised the issue of financing. How much government is spending per student as against how much parents are spending per student with respect to the free SHS policy. They've also raised issues about a disparity between what we have been told is what has been spent on free SHS and what actually has been spent. And that will deal with releases as against allocations and all that. But I have Kofi Asare, who's the executive director of EduWatch, and I would want him to take us through this particular issue and, of course, the recommendations that they have made. Good morning, Kofi.
Hi, morning, Doc, and morning to your panelists and your audience.
Okay, so apologies for yesterday. We were supposed to have done this yesterday, but we outrun the time. So apologies once again, and thanks for being here with us, despite the fact that we stood you up yesterday.
That's all right. That's all right.
Okay, all right, Kofi. So a financial burden analysis of Ghana's free senior high school policy. This is a study that you conducted. Please take us through, first of all, the rationale for the study and your key findings.
Okay, let me indicate that it took us close to a year to undertake this study. And then we are grateful to the Ghana Statistical Service, the Ministry of Education, Finance, for relying on their data for this analysis. Recall when His Excellency the President was launching the free senior high school policy, he indicated that he is happy that for once we are going to have a policy where no poor child will be denied secondary education on the basis of financial barriers to access. This was made at the West Africa Senior High School, WAS. And so since then, all our participation in the policy has been about equitable access, because that's the key objective of the free senior high school policy. That's the first objective, actually. And by equitable access, what government seeks to achieve, our understanding of equitable access is that as much as practicable, the poorest of the poor should be given equal access, just as the privileged ones. what we realized is that in the first 6 years of implementing the policy, yes, about 2.5 million were enrolled onto the program, which is very, very, very unprecedented, increasing the admission rates in senior high school from 60% in 2016-17 to 70% now, and very significant. But we also realize that there is a significant number of candidates who are placed but do not enroll. In the initial years of the policy, it was averaging 12%, and then it came to 10%. And so it had been declining. In 2022-2023 academic year, it was 2%. But if you look at the numbers, it adds up to about 250,000. So if you enroll 2.5 million, and about 250,000 were placed but couldn't honor their admissions, the indication is that there is still a sizable chunk of Ghanaians who are unable to afford or who are unable to go to free senior high school, even though it's supposed to be free. So this study sought to find out why this number. So we selected 20 schools across categories, across the regions, and then we followed up, and then we identified to the candidates who did not honor their admissions. Then we followed up to their junior high schools and engaged their headmasters to find out where the candidates were. Why didn't they honor their admissions? And these are admissions not honored in various years, including 2022. The last one was 2022. Then we got in touch with the parents, interviewed them. We have the interviews written in the report. It's attached to the report. And then majority of the parents, 15 out of 20, indicated that it was because there was no money. There was no money because they couldn't have enough money to pay for the prospectus, and then also other items they require to go to school, which are not in the prospectus. Our analysis of expenditure, so this brought into question, are there any financial barriers of access? So we delve into that issue. We hit Ghana Statistical Service for historical data on the cost of prospectus and non-prospectus items to parents. And then so we shopped. We took prospectuses from all these schools, costed them from 2017 historically using data from DSS, and arrived at the conclusion that there was still a significant barrier to accessing secondary education by way of cost. Indeed, we came to the conclusion that between 2017 and 2021-2022 academic year, as a result of the introduction of the free senior high school policy, government absorbed 23% of the cost originally borne by parents prior to the introduction of the policy. And parents were absorbing 77%. It also meant that government was paying an average of about 1,200 a year. Parents doing about 4,120 a year. So there was significant cost to parents. We delved much deeper to find out the dimensions of the cost to parents. Parents indicated that apart from shopping for prospectus for that period, which cost between 3,000 and 4,000 towards the end of the end line year, that's 2021-2022, parents indicated that a sizable chunk of their investment went into non-prospectus expenditure. So it means that prospectus constituted 45% of the cost, and the non-prospectus cost constituted 55% of the cost to parents. And in the non-prospectus baskets, 60% of the cost went into buying provisions, food, 10% into transport, because of the double track and all that, you have to go to school about 6 times in an academic year. You do 6 different trips. I mean, in out, instead of one instead of in out, you do trips in between. And the cost of transport was very, very significant. So transport costs, personal effects, etc., books made up the remaining 40% of the non-prospectus expenditure. So in conclusion, we realized that the state of these parents who couldn't enroll their children was that of poverty. Now, according to the Ghana Statistical Service, a significant percentage of Ghanaians live in the lower income quintiles. The lower income quintiles are those households that spend less than 8,000 Ghana cedis a year as an annual household expenditure. You have an average of 4 to 5 people living in these households. And so if your whole annual expenditure is 8,000, between 8,000 and below, some of them are 5,000 and below, that's the lowest. but the two categories are 8,000 and below and 5,000 and below the whole year. It means that obviously you won't be able to raise 5,000 cedis to finance your ward's free senior high school admission in the first year alone. And so we were worried that if that is the situation, then the poorest of the poor may still be struggling to access secondary education, even though there's free senior high school. We went ahead and sought to understand why was government paying 1,200 averagely per student per year. Because if you look at the budget and the allocations that are made appropriated by Parliament, as we sit, we are doing about 2,200 plus per student per year. So why is it that even in a year we're doing 2,000 cedis per year per student, government was spending only 1,200? We went into the budget. Data from Ministry of Finance and Parliament indicated that budget credibility, which is a measure of the extent to which the budget as appropriated is actually funds actually disbursed and expended, was very low. It was very low. And so from the beginning of the free senior school policy till 2021-2022, government has been able to only fund 70% of the budgeted cost of the free senior school policy, averaging 1.06 billion a year. So you will hear 2 billion, but the reality is that by only 70% of the amount gets to be disbursed and expended. And so we came to the conclusion that because the Ministry of Education only receives 70% of the budget cost of the free senior school for a particular year, obviously there's a gap that needs to be filled by people. So if that expenditure goes into feeding, then parents have to spend more on provisions. And of course, 70% of the cost of free senior high school is the cost of feeding. So once you have deficits by way of releases and expenditure, someone will have to fill the gap. And so it manifested in the increasing expenditure of the policy borne by parents. So we have made the following recommendations to government. That, you see, it is important for us to increase the quantum of support available to such parents because they belong to the low-income category. But how do you do so? You do so by using household data from the Ghana Statistical Service, from the LEAP. Under LEAP now, Government of Ghana has committed under the IMF program to increase the coverage across the country. And I'm told that is almost done, if not done. The last briefing we had from the Ministry of Finance indicated that that requirement was virtually done, which is great. So now we have a database of all poor households in the country through which government is administering by monthly payments under LEAP. So we want government to dwell on this data and target the policy most at students from these poor households, such that if the son of Kofi Asare will get 1,200 in senior high school, children from those households shouldn't get 1,200. They should get more than that, including the cost of their prospectus item, because they require more support to honor their admission. Kofi Asare's son will not need 1,200, but he will need much less, such that you have an equitable financing of the policy, so the poorest of the poor can get more support from government, and then the average middle income to high income children can also get less, or those who don't need anything don't get anything from government, so that the poor can benefit more from the policy. That's the first recommendation. The second recommendation is that we need to increase the budget credibility under the policy. This year, we have planned to spend about 3 billion on the policy. If at the end of the year you only disburse 70% of that money, the meaning is that there will be hidden costs being pushed onto parents because the schools must run, and so we must have a merger between the objective of the Ministry of Finance and the objective of the Ministry of Education on a free senior school policy. For now, they don't gel, and that's why we are happy that in January's IMF review report, Government of Ghana committed that it will review and rationalize expenditure on the free senior school program. So within this context, we want government to appreciate the dimensions of the cost burden share, which we have provided in our report, so that it will inform government, among others, in planning its review and rationalization of expenditure agenda as government itself committed in the IMF review report of January 2024.
All right. So thanks, and a great job done. As the findings and the recommendations, I think that this a really helpful study, especially when the focus of the free SHS was really to take financing as a barrier to accessing secondary education. If these revelations that have come up really the point, then it means that we obviously are not fully achieving what we intended to achieve on quite a number of fronts. And I'm sure that all of us, especially government, will be taking a keen interest in this particular study. Now, Nana Kumia wants to find out if Africa EduWatch has engaged the ministry on these findings of yours.
Yeah, okay, so I indicated that the research was done with data. We did requests for information from the Ministry of Education, SAS Class Service, Parliament. We use data from the Finance Ministry. The ministry is aware of this work. We just launched the report days ago, so we are here to start the stakeholder engagement on the report, but we have shared copies with the ministry already. Normally, once we launch the report, the first thing is to do engagement with the ministry. So the ministry is one of our closest partners in all our researches, and so that would be the first layer of stakeholder engagement. We haven't started the stakeholder engagement yet, and so that would be the first meeting we're going to have with the minister and his team, and then we are going to have discussions with the manifesto committees, because we realize that both parties have indicated that the leaders of both parties have made public pronouncements that they want to improve the free senior high school policy. So within the context of improving the free senior high school policy, we also bring on board how we think it can be improved. We think improvement should be mainly along the lines of enhancing equitable access and supporting the poorest more so that they can fully participate and sustain the gains of such a beautiful policy.
Now, Kofi, in a related matter, you had earlier on done some work also on free education, but this time basic education. And you had given some horrifying figures about people who are unable to access basic. This will be from, let's say, KG up to GSS 3, despite the fact that it's supposed to be free under F cube. Can you take us briefly through that? You focus extensively on the challenges of basic education, and you've made some startling findings.
Yes, we appreciate that basic education is the foundation of education. And so the only way you can grow up and come and enjoy secondary education is when you have reasonable access to basic education. Now, these findings were made within the context of, again, equitable access to secondary education. You realize that in the most underserved regions in this country are the 5 northern regions and OT. They are underserved when it comes to basic and underserved also when it comes to secondary education. Okay. Now, the challenge is that in these regions, you have the lowest number or percentage of students surviving. We call it, they have the lowest.
Right. I guess we have a little technical hitch there. Yes, I'm sure we'll just work on it and get Kofi Asare back to deal with the issue of basic education. There's a direct link between that and secondary education. Like you said, you need to survive basic education in order to enjoy free SHS. And the numbers of people who are not able to survive basic education is quite frightening. And that's what I wanted Kofi to take us through, and also some of the recommendations that Africa EduWatch. Okay, so we have Kofi back on the line. All right.
So the point is that if you want to enhance equitable access to secondary education, it shouldn't be seen just within the context of moving more and more numbers from junior high school 3 to senior high school 1. That you are improving the transition. But the challenge in our education system goes beyond junior high school 3, senior high school 1 transition. It is actually a matter of equitable access. And so equitable access to secondary education means that you are ensuring that as much as possible, as much as practicable, the number of people who enter basic education must progress fully. The target is to have about 99% or so completing junior high school and then transitioning to secondary. That is the bigger picture for equitable access. But we have a situation where in our education system, between KG1 and junior high school 3, about 34% of students drop out at the national level. So those who will complete junior high school and have an opportunity of entering senior high school are the 65% of those who survived. That is one. But the issue we raised is that this situation is even more precarious in the underserved regions. In the 5 northern regions and in OT, you have as low as 3 out of 10 who enroll in kindergarten 1 entering senior high school.
Wow.
3 out of 10.
30%.
You have as low as 4 out of 10 who enroll in kindergarten 1 completing junior high school. And the main reason for this, why it is very low compared to the national average, which even is a problem, is that in these regions, close to half of primary schools do not have junior high schools. And the worst is in Northeast and Savannah, where up to 60% of primary schools do not have junior high schools. So what happens is that one completes primary 6, they need to do a journey, 10, 15 kilometers daily to access junior high school. In the course of journeying, they drop out, especially the girls. So the infrastructure gap at the basic level is a major source of inequitable access that will not permit students in these 6 regions to equitably access senior high school, because by the time they get to junior high school 3 and are getting ready to write BEC, they are 6 out of 10 have already dropped out. And by the time they cross to senior high school, it's only 3 out of 10. It means that as a government, we must look at equitable access to secondary education in the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is this: how do we ensure that children of Ghana, regardless of their geography, are able to move from basic school to secondary school in an equitable manner? But currently, the situation we have is that in urban areas, the transition is very high, completion is very high, but in rural areas, it's very low because of the infrastructural deficits at the basic level. And we want attention to be paid to that. How do we pay attention to this? If we begin to target a free senior high school policy, it means that you will spend less. If you are spending less, then you are freeing resources to support the whole bigger agenda of equitable access to secondary education and ensuring that those at the basic level who are dropping out, whose survival rate is very low, especially in the 6 regions I mentioned, are getting investment in infrastructure and other facilities, the absence of which is causing low survival rate, so that they will be able to catch up with the rest of Ghana. Now, this situation I explained is even more dire if you do an endowed district and then deprived district analysis of cohort survival and completion. In endowed district, between endowed district and deprived district, there's about 20% gap. So in Greater Accra, for instance, we will find that in Greater Accra, about 80% of students who are entering kindergarten 1 are going all the way to senior high schools. But you go to the deprived district like Tatale Sanguli or Bushegu, and you see that it's about 25%. So in some of them, it's about just 20% or 30%. The maximum you will see in the deprived districts is just 3 out of 10, which is 30%. So we must look critically at equitable access, not within the context of junior high school, the few who get to junior high school 3 moving to senior high school 1, but within the broader context of the number that gets to primary school moving to senior high school. Then we'll be all happy that the investment government makes from kindergarten 1, the investment parents make from kindergarten 1 is not lost, because by the time you get to senior high school 1, we have lost close to 7 out of 10 in these deprived or underserved regions. That is the first big picture. The second big picture, which His Excellency mentioned during his State of the Nation address, was that we are getting to a point where, as a result of free senior high school, the minimum qualification or skills one will possess, even though they are unemployed, or before they enter the labor market, will be secondary education. It is good. It is one of the main attributes of any country that has a free secondary education policy. If you go to Argentina 15 years ago, when we studied that in the Argentine system, we realized that yes, the minimum qualification, you say a taxi driver and they have senior high school. It is great. But there's another dimension to it, which we must have our minds to and plan towards as we develop our manifestos for the next 4 years. Only 12%. We are now producing 450,000 senior high school graduates annually. That's fine. But only 12% are involved in skills-oriented education. Only 12%. That put that one aside. Now, only 40% of this total number, this 450,000, are moving to tertiary. 40%. So, a majority of those you are producing are not moving to tertiary.
Kofi, just hold on. Kofi, hold on a minute for me. When you speak about skills-oriented education, what specifically are you referring to?
TVET.
Okay.
TVET. It's 12%. It used to be about 6%. Okay, but we've seen an increment because of the free TVET program. Government added other TVET institutions and other ministries onto the free senior school program. So it absorbed existing students onto the program. So there's an automatic increase, but it is not organic. It is not organic because they were existing students in other existing TVET institutions who were paying fees. And then they said, come on board and enjoy the free. But the point I want to make is that because the TVET to secondary ratio is low in Ghana, and we are doing so well by producing 450,000 secondary school graduates a year, it brings about the issue of youth unemployment, which is over 30% already, and how it constitutes a national security threat if not addressed effectively. With only 60%, with only 40% of the 450,000 graduates moving to tertiary, it means majority of the secondary school products are not going to tertiary. If they are not going to tertiary, they are finding spaces as primary labor market entrants in the world of work. But only 12% of them have skills that can, facilitate their entry if the opportunities for employment and employability are even there. Only 12%. So how are we enriching the content of our senior high school training to ensure that, as much as practicable, a sizable chunk have the skills that even when they are unable to transit to tertiary, they will become productive or they will become useful at the primary entry point of the labor markets or the world of work. 2, how do we increase the percentage of secondary school students who transit into tertiary? Because you have up to 60% of candidates passing their core subjects in WASI. And I can tell you that if up to 60% are passing their core subjects on the WASI, you should be having at least 55% crossing to tertiary. There are electives, yes, but normally the main ones are the core to pass. So if 60% are passing their 4 core, which is another achievement government has espoused, which is great, then we must avert our minds to the fact that if 60% are passing their 4 core, why is 39 to 40% only transiting to tertiary at all levels, from teacher training, private, public, everywhere, 40%? It means that some people are passing, but they are not able to finance their tertiary education entry. And that's the fact. We've done a study on that. We are publishing it next week on Monday. And so, as we seek to enrich the content of our secondary education curriculum, to ensure that those who are unable to go to tertiary find a way, find a space in the labor market at the primary entry points with the skills they have, we should also point bursary schemes at prospective students and stop relying on the student loan to provide relief for students. People are not getting the opportunity of becoming students because they are poor. And so if the student loan continues to wait for candidates to become students, then they will never get the opportunity of entering tertiary first to even become beneficiaries of the student loan. These are two broad big picture issues that I think the government and then opposition parties must take into cognizance when planning for our future in the next 4 years. That is how we can collectively consolidate on the gains of the free scenario and ensure that the increasing numbers you are seeing become a blessing and not a threat to our national.
All right, Kofi, thank you so very much for this elucidation this morning. I'm most grateful. Thanks, and have a pleasant weekend.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. So that's Kofi Asaro, Executive Director of Africa EduWatch, a think tank in the education space. We'll be back shortly.
MTN.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ampedu.
Good afternoon, Mr. Asari.
How is business doing?
My business is collapsing.
Why is your business collapsing?
I sold my products and services to my clients on credit, and my debtors are not paying their debts.
Have you heard of Rosic Consult Limited, a debt recovery company operating in all the 16 regions of Ghana?
Not at all.
Mr. Ampedu, all you need to do is to contact them on their customer service line. I recommend Rosic Consult Limited, a debt recovery company to financial institutions, businessmen and businesswomen, other companies, and also individuals. Rosic Consult has 98.4% debt recovery rate. We have professional debt recovery managers. You are assured of swift debt recovery. No recovery, no commission. For Rosic Consult Limited, no more write-offs. And we pre-finance the recovery ourselves.
Hello, my friends. My name is Calcate Toothpaste.
Wow.
I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky whiter, chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Calcates. Happy smile.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say. But as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
We are back bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front 2 with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bet. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the partial daily jackpot.
You always get way more
with Betway.
These offers have been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
Customer.
Nadabena minka me trap papa. Me try 10 Ghana.
10 Ghana.
10 Ghana cedis.
Nanu no dia, send na obenya.
10 Ghana cedis no. Me dia. Maybe 54,000 Ghana cedis.
54,000.
540 million. Here.
Yeah, the one na me ka me di ehun is kase.
Yeah. And then I kika. Adi etina we. Tina wa boki. Draw no na asase no we. Mami mi volume no.
Customer, ready? One of our daily lucky winners. Dial *946# to play now. Or you can also play online at www.gamepackgames.com. Game Park is regulated by the National Lottery Authority.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. Still with me on the show, Nana Kumia and Samir Kujato Ablakwa. But what does wealth mean to you? Do you want to live like a tycoon? Remember, I've got the Mullah got the power. Ghana's newest lottery game draws live on Adom TV at 9 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m. daily. Now pick up your phones, tablets, and computers and download the Game Park Games app on Play Store. You can also play on the website at www.gamepackgames.com or by dialing *946# on all networks. Just choose 4 numbers from 0 to 9. Easy to play and easy to win. Charlie, we could play this game and make some mola. Nobody beats our odds in Ghana. Game Park Games, more mola, more power. This game is regulated by a National Lottery Authority, and it's not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. Ayesoko, Akosombo damn be big, but Betway's cash out be bigger. Betway is giving you more control over every thrilling bet you place. Enjoy the biggest and most reliable cash out in Ghana on Betway without any hassle. Sign up today at betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. Not for persons under 18. This is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway gets way more. Now, charcoal has essential medicinal properties that help remove toxins from our bodies. The natural absorptive property of charcoal helps to remove the bacteria that produces bad breath in the mouth, hence giving you a fresh breath. Kel Charcoal toothpaste has been formulated and produced under strict hygienic conditions without the necessary production protocols and has been approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. Constant use of Kel Charcoal toothpaste gives you a good fresh breath, whiter teeth, reduces dental plaque, makes the gum healthy and strong, prevents cavity, upset stomach, hangover, and so on. Kel Charcoal toothpaste is recommended for adults and children from 6 years and above. Kel Charcoal toothpaste for white teeth and fresh breath all day long. This is another quality product from Samara Company Limited. Kel Charcoal toothpaste, happy smile. And Blue Jeans energy drink has been on the Ghanaian market for over 20 years. We already know what it does for the body. It contains vitamins and nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, as well as taurine and guarana, which are known to boost your strength and energy, as well as promote high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans energy drink has been tested and tried. It is indeed the best. Blue Jeans energy drink is for bold and active men and women. So go on, grab a cold can and power your day. It's in shops nationwide. For bulk purchases, contact Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 0208 128 190 055 001 0000. And let me talk to you about the NABE's Future Ready Leadership Summit. The future is here. But where is the leadership? The maiden edition of the Future Ready Leadership Summit, dubbed Reimagining Leadership in a World of Unrelenting Change, with very inspiring speakers such as Sam Jonah, Dr. George Ajekum Donko, Professor Kweku Etuainejima, and many distinguished speakers billed to speak on that day. The summit will come off on the 13th of March 2024 at the Mövenpick Ambassador Hotel at 8 a.m. For tickets of the event, kindly contact 0267 349 147 or 0244 202 949. All right, so, gentlemen, we had Kofi Asari of Africa Do Watch on the study that they have finished, the financial burden analysis of Ghana's free senior high school policy. And you've had the statistics in terms of how much government spends, how much parents spend, the gap between the releases and the budgetary allocations themselves. You have a huge 30% difference. And then we've also been told about how many students are unable. So out of the 2.5 million, about 10% who were offered admission didn't make it. And if you decide to even look at the bigger picture of transition from basic to secondary, then the revelation is even startling. And so if you take the 30% who don't make it to secondary and the 10% who don't take up admissions, what it means is that between basic to free SS3, you have 40% not making it to SS3. And then when you take from SS3 to tertiary, about 60% of those who finish SS3 don't transition into tertiary education. And I guess a key issue is that, look, free SHS was supposed to remove the barrier, finance as a barrier to people attaining secondary education. The reality is that there is still quite a huge number who are unable to do so. And if you look at the issue of cost, it looks like the state is taking up 23% of the cost, and parents are taking up 77% of the cost. That's what the data says. And he believes that one of the ways of dealing with it is to also target and use perhaps the LEAP household survey as a baseline in determining who really needs more and who doesn't need more. Because it looks like the gap between the 1,200 and the 4,000 and something is making those who are from the very poor places not able to take it up. Let me hear you first. You were at the ministry as deputy minister.
Yes. So let me first of all commend Kofi and the Africa Education Watch. They're doing a great job. I've been following their publications. And I like his passion. I like his patriotism, his love for country. And they do a thorough work. The research is quite vigorous. And I want to salute them this morning. We need this. It's always important that matters like education, like health, national security, foreign policy, these are matters that are too important to just be left to political propaganda. It's always crucial that you allow the data, you allow a certain empirical analysis to lead the way. And that is why we should encourage more CSOs in these spaces, particularly education. Because really, without education, there's no future, there's no country. And so I must commend Africa Edu Watch for the work they have done. And let me also add that I think that we are now coming to a very significant convergence, which should not be lost on anybody. We in the NDC have consistently called for a review so that we can look at the gaps and we can improve the free SHS policy, which we have always argued that if you pay regard to Article 25 of our Constitution, that's really the dream, the vision of the drafters of our Constitution, which all of us in April of 1992 promulgated the whole referendum to endorse the 1992 Constitution. It was because we were really inspired by the provisions in that constitution. Article 25(1)(a) provides that basic education should be free, should be compulsory, should be universal. And since the Rawlings era, we have been pursuing FQ, as it is known. Then Article 25(1)(b) of the Constitution provides that secondary education in all its forms, including technical, vocational education, should be progressively free. Many people forget that Article 25(1)(c) even admonishes us that as we grow as a country, as we progress, we should get to a point where, depending on how we grow the national cake, we should be able to make tertiary education free. So, free education has always been, at the forefront of the development of our country, the construction of this nation state, right from the Nkrumah era. And these days, we even take it for granted. Tuition has been free since independence. I mean, nobody pays for tuition in Ghana in the public education space. And so we've always had that realization and awareness that education is just so important, so fundamental, that we should aim at always removing barriers. Barriers to access, barriers to quality. Any barrier we identify, the founders of our country, the drafters of our constitution, have always told us, and all of us collectively have always aspired towards eliminating those barriers. So I am really glad that when you listen to the president for the first time in his 2024 message on the state of the nation, as he sought to comply with Article 67 of the 1992 Constitution, he for the first time admitted that we should discuss the free SHS and see how we improve it. Previously, any discussion about review, they even disingenuously and really mischievously portrayed review as cancellation. I really don't know what dictionary they were using, and distorted review to mean cancellation. But for the first time, and I think that perhaps the IMF program has contributed to that, because if you read the IMF agreement, they have agreed with the IMF that they will carry out a review of the free SHS program. And so for the first time, we see in the President's message on the State of the Nation that they are going to welcome discussion and effort to improve the free SHS program, which in principle, we have all said that it's a good policy which must be pursued. Now, the statistics that EduWatch has put out, Doc, is really, really troubling. And it means that if we don't pay attention to the data, we can be in an illusion, a bubble, which is far from reality, that because of free SHS, everybody is in school. So we are only told about the increasing enrollment. The full picture, all the parts of the elephant is not presented. But what this EduWatch research does is that it puts all the issues in perspective. So even though enrollment has gone up from 60% in 2016, as he put out, to 70%, it means all of the free SHS and all the investment that have been made, it's just a 10%, increment, which means that there's still work to be done. There's some 30% of students who are being enrolled from JHS, but they are not taking up the offer. And I'm glad that they have gone beyond the numbers to interview people to find out why they didn't take up the offer. And it's becoming very clear that apart from the fees that the government has absorbed, there are so many other hidden costs, prospectus, which he reveals is just about 45%. And I note that in recent times, the Ministry of Education, the GES, have been trying to streamline prospectus because they observed that the prospectus has become quite a significant barrier to parents and to students. Now we are hearing from EduWatch that the non-prospectus financial burden is about 60% in terms of provisions, in terms of transportation, and all of that. It's about 55%. Pardon me. So prospectors 45%, non-prospectors 55%, and when they disaggregate the 55%, provisions alone is accounting for 60%, and then transportation 10% because of double track and what have you. Now, Doc, if I'm to tell you that these numbers have become worse this year, will you believe? I've shared some data with you. I observed following the spillage from the Akosombo Pond dams that a considerable number of my constituents and neighboring constituencies were really struggling with enrollment. And we had to even come up with that intervention to help them to take up their free SHS placements. You've seen quite a number of us providing, chop box provisions and some funds to help students go in. So I asked for the data. I've shared the data with you, and then Nana, I've also forwarded the data to you. And this is from the Minister for Education, and let me thank him for being generous in sharing the data with us, so that as community leaders we can carry out interventions that addresses the gap. So in Northton, Doc, data from the Ministry of Education, this as at 18th January this year. They were to report on the 4th of December last year. Doc, you recall, 4th of December 2023. We thought that the ministry should have waited and, they go to school after the Yuletide, but they insisted that they should report. More than a month, some 6-7 weeks after they were to report, when I requested the data, in Northton alone, so 2,247 students were placed on the free SHS program. Will you believe that only 1,327 were able to take up the opportunity to report? So that's just 59%. 920 could not get enrolled. So we have put out an intervention now, targeting them house to house and supporting them so they can take up the opportunity. Some schools are even being difficult, that they were quite late in the day. The minister was generous enough to share with me the national picture. And Doc, Ashanti region, I've shared those slides with you, and this is from the minister's office, the Ministry of Education. Ashanti region, 79% as at now have reported. So they couldn't get 100%. Greater Accra region, 79%. That's the capital, 79%. Central region, 69%. Eastern region, 71%. Western region, 75%. Northern region, 89%. Bono, 78%. Bono East, 80%. Upper West, 78%. Volta region, 66%. There's a crisis in the Volta region. And you see, when we keep talking about the effect of this spillage and why we need to have a special intervention, why government must prioritize this, and that's why I'm so outraged, I'm so livid that the president did not say a word about this spillage. Just ignore this national disaster. These are some of the effects. You're seeing this in every sector. I'll share with you some data from Agric, and you even be more traumatized. So the Volta region now, only 66% have been able to take up the free SHS opportunity this academic year. Western North, 70%. Upper East, 84%. Ahafu, 73%. Savannah, 89%. Northeast, 88%. Oti, 73%. So we have a real challenge here. And the data is so comprehensive. If you look at what I have sent to you, you see even the district breakdown, the Volta region, how we come by the 67%. Adaklu is doing only 58%. The Afajato South district is doing 69%. Agotimezi Ope 68%. You have North Dai 65%. Northton 59%. You have Angloga 65%. Akachi North 55%. I've provided the full data. And let me repeat that this is data from the Ministry
What's
of,
the figure for
of Education. Pando, yes, I know Pando Heart of Lions here, particular, that's 75%.
Oh.
I think they are the highest. Pando and Ho Municipal, they have the highest, but which is still worrying though. So you have 25% in Pando who couldn't take up the free SHS offer.
Oh.
So I am glad that you have brought this matter up. I mean, we have quietly been putting out interventions in the constituency to see how we can help. Certainly the floods have worsened the situation, but you can imagine how things are going to look by the time they add this. EduWatch stopped at the 2021-2022 academic year. It's gotten worse. This is latest data for the 2023-2024, academic year.
What has gotten worse?
The number of students who are not able to take up the offer, the free SHS offer, who are at home. So we need to, as a country, begin to discuss a certain targeted intervention that will mop up the numbers. Because if not, we are all because of free SHS, everybody in school. Everybody is in school. That's the propaganda out there. Everybody is in school because of free SHS.
Anytime,
but there are thousands.
Anytime the discussion of review comes up, my position has been clear from day one.
Yeah.
That you put in place a policy. The policy has an objective.
Yes.
Periodically,
yes,
you should be finding out whether indeed the objective is being met.
It's being met.
Are there issues? Can it be improved? Are there impediments? Because you see, you proceeded on the basis of some assumption.
Yes.
I want to even admit that maybe there was data to suggest that financing was the most important issue. You understand me?
Yes.
If you look at this finding, it tells you that perhaps we just generalized it.
Yes.
And maybe we shouldn't have.
Yes.
Because if you have a situation where already, if you take 6 particular regions, you have 30% of kids making it up to GSS 3. As against 10 other regions, where on the average you have 70% making it, then you would see that a one-size-fits-all policy would not suffice.
Will not suffice.
There should have been some different intervention or an additional intervention for those 6 particular regions. So now when you have a situation where the data is suggesting that the government intervention is only taking care of 23% of the cost, and so parents will have to cough up about 77% of the cost. What it means is that most of the parents in these 6 regions will be unable to.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this is the reason why you need to be reviewing the policy periodically to find out whether the objectives for it are being met.
Absolutely.
What is the study telling you? What is the data telling you? Do you need to change it? Do you need to review it? Do you need to do different things? That's what it's all about. But we politicize and not just politicize, but we partisan everything.
Yeah. And it shouldn't. I mean, education is too important to bring in, this needless, petty partisanship. And you see, a review should necessarily also make you look at the basic level, the interlinkages, your supply chain, those who must feed the SHS program. So you hear EduWatch saying that there's so many communities that do not even have junior high schools.
Yes.
That is why when we were at the Ministry of Education, we pursued a number of interventions. So you recall the elimination of schools under trees. When you look at the EMIS data, we were able to, from the EMIS data, remove 1,614 school under trees. At the time, we counted 2,578. That's what the GES provided when we asked them to go around the country and give us the data on the number of school under trees we have. We were able to totally eliminate 1,614. And you look at the number of additional facilities that we constructed, if you look at the EMIS data. So we increased the number of schools from 17,881 in the 2008-2009 academic year to 22,335 for the 2015-2016 academic year. Enrollment shot up from 3.7 million to 4.3 million. We invested heavily in training teachers. The trained teacher percentage increased from 58.4% to 78%, because really we're talking about quality education, giving the young ones a fair shot, at making it. So overall, the number of teachers at the basic level increased from 114,421 per EMIS data for the 2008-2009 academic year to 142,520 for the 2015-2016 academic year. You look at the number of junior high schools we construct, because we noticed the gap. And that is why, if you have observed, under our watch, we reduced significantly this construction of 6-unit classroom. Because what 6-unit classroom does is that you're just looking at P1 to P6. So after primary 6, where do they go? So we prioritize 9-unit classrooms. So we're doing the full chain. So we had an intervention for pre-basic education, that is your KGs, making sure that you have adequate supply of kindergartens across the country. Unfortunately, we had some good funding from USAID to help us with these preschool initiatives. Then we invested heavily in 9-unit classrooms so that the entire spectrum, all the way to JHS3, you solve that problem. So again, if you look at the EMIS data, Doc, we were able to increase the number of junior high schools from 10,213 to 14,832. So we added more than 4,000 schools. And this is what helped us. If you recall, and these days we take it for granted. Doc, do you remember the shift system in the CITOS? So some say that they go to school in the morning, others go in the afternoon, because of the acute shortage of infrastructure. Under the visionary president, John Dramani Mahama, we were able to eliminate the shift system because of these investments that we made. I'm glad that Mr. Kofi Asare talks about the challenges in OT. So you notice that a lot of our interventions, OT at the time, I remember, Krachi in Chumuru had the highest number of school pupils who were, being subjected to this shift system. It led to truancy. They were not attending school. We were able to eliminate all of that across the country. So by the time we were leaving office in 2016, we didn't have the shift system any longer. Then, Doc, there's another significant policy intervention which was made. And I think that often I don't hear people celebrate us for that. And I must salute Professor Nana Jenopoko-Ajiman. She was really passionate about that intervention. So previously in this country, you had only one shot at the BEC. Can you believe that? If you are not able to show up for the BEC, that is it. You can't progress. You can't continue your education. There was only one opportunity to write the BEC for your lifetime. We introduced the private BEC in 2015 because we said, even at higher levels, even at the SHS level, at the tertiary level, you can rewrite your papers. You can resit. You can have a second, because there's so many things that can happen to a child, particularly at that age. You're probably not in a psychological frame of mind. It wasn't the best of times. You probably fell sick. Maybe some challenges at home and all of that. So why did we have this killer policy where you have only one chance? You miss it and that is it. So in 2015, we introduced the private BEC. And will you believe that the first private BEC in this country, as many as 1,181 people who had dropped out, some of them 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And the beautiful thing is that even at the Boston Institute, those who had, had a brush with the law, the so-called, naughty kids, we insisted that they should be given opportunities. So in all those Boston institutes, or prisons, if you want to call them that way, they were able to write. 1,181 in 2015. By 2016, it went up to 1,413. Just 1 year. All these people had dropped out of the system. They were having no chance of progressing at all. We had left them behind. In addition to this, to the private BC, we introduced the complementary basic education, the CBE. That is how they were prepared to come sit for this private BC. So we're mopping them up. These days, you don't hear about all of these interventions. And I think that a review, look, I will argue that perhaps if we had not implemented free SHS, the numbers could have been worse. I'm willing to accept that, and I think that that's an objective and an empirical.
It's a more progressive view.
Yes,
of it,
yes. So nobody is condemning free SHS, but a review that takes us back to where the students must come from. I mean, we did a new curriculum 5 years ago. They are going to sit for the BEC. At least I can talk about those in my constituency. They haven't received textbooks. What are they going to write in the BEC? All of these things must be of concern to us because these are the people going to feed.
There's a mismatch of about 30%.
Yeah.
In funding. When you go to basic level, the funding issue is completely different.
Completely different.
West.
Yes. It's West because we all know that the capitation grant is not enough. And you need to invest. And these days, the media has been showcasing the proliferation of school under trees. It's back. I mean,
we have over 5,000.
Yes, it's gone up. It's getting out of control. And you see some of the footage, you will weep. Children sitting on bare floor, their stomachs. I mean, so we have neglected basic education. And even the free SHS, EduWatch is revealing that the releases amount to just 70%. Yes. Already, it's not adequate. It will take care of just 23% of the needs. But even that, government is not able to release all the funds. So we really need this comprehensive review, not just a review of free SHS at the SHS level, but we must go all the way back from KG, primary school, JHS, the gaps, the lack of junior high schools in a lot of places, and put in place the needed investments. Then, you see, there's also this vexed issue that people don't want to talk about. But we have to talk about it. How is it that if I have my child attending a very expensive private school, and I decide that because of long family traditions, I want my son to continue the tradition to go to Presec. I know Accra people will not be happy, but I don't really mind. Once we do that switch, and my son is going to Presec,
the state is desperate to pay for
suddenly
you.
I can't afford it. I can't pay for it. I'm told to wash my hands. I'm asked to back off, and to the extent that as we speak, headmasters, headmistresses are being victimized when they ask for a literal contribution. Meanwhile, we all know PTA secretly
and the
are
data,
contributing.
the data is showing that what government intends to pay only constitutes 23%.
Only 23%. And even that is only 70% that is released on the average. So why are we preventing? And the finance minister, the Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta, perhaps
the former finance minister.
No, he's now, finance minister international. That's how we call him in parliament. So there's finance minister domestic, Amin Adam, and he's finance minister international.
Right.
He made this point that he doesn't really understand, even though he keeps releasing the funds, why his children should not be allowed to make a contribution
when
he can even pay for 10 people. A profound statement. So we really must look at the needs assessment. And Kofi has talked about LEAP data. The data is there. In this country, we know those. If you look at even just where the students are coming from, the basic schools they attended, because we all know that in this country, everybody prefers private basic schools.
Yes.
And the secondary schools are more
public.
The public secondary schools are more, preferred. Though data shows that even now that is changing.
It's changing, yes.
It's changing. People are now, schools like Christian girls and all of that are becoming very popular because of the quality there. So we need to have that discussion. Can we do a needs assessment, which would then free resources? Now we know that more than 70% is being spent by parents, even with free SHS, so that you support these students, more adequately, so that we are not going to have this high dropout rate we are seeing. Finally, the issue of even boarding. I'm not aware of any country in the world where...
Not in Scandinavia. Not even in Scandinavia, who are very generous.
Yes, who are very generous with their social interventions, where boarders, enjoy free education, because it's really a choice you make. So we need to have...
And that constitutes 70% of the cost.
Of the cost. So we need to have these discussions and be sure that we're putting our money, at the right places, and we are preparing our children to really take over from us and transform the society in the way that we want it.
And I see that you would want to be education minister. You love challenges, don't you?
Never. There are challenges everywhere. You see, Randy, you had said that education should not be politicized.
Yes.
Some of this, Samuel Kujeto echoed what you said. But then he just went ahead to just politicize the issue.
Oh, how did I do that?
We did this, we did that, we did that, we did that, we did that. Give us...
As a former Deputy Minister for Education, I should talk about, I've served there for 4 years. I should be able to talk about what we did. So it doesn't look like, I just wasted public time in that space.
We did that, we did this, we did that, we did this. Throughout the 15 minutes he spoke, just telling us about what one political party has done.
No.
But no matter what you say, you would agree that free SHS has improved educational outcomes at the secondary school level. No matter what you say, you can't run away from that conclusion. Yes, a measure like this, in these times that we are in, there will be difficulties. And so there will be room for improvement. There's no doubt. In fact, which aspect of our lives, not only in Ghana, but abroad, that there will be no room for improvement.
So why were you fighting our review? When we said, let's review free SHS, why were you fighting it? And you lead the NPP's propaganda. Why did you do that?
Don't spoil Randy's Friday, please. Don't spoil Randy's Friday.
I'm glad that you've all done a U-turn now.
Even today.
Yes.
You see, I don't want to follow you into the partisan trench. Otherwise, I will recite.
Otherwise,
I'll recite what you said about free SHS.
Okay.
The adverts you ran and all the things. But I don't want to follow you into the partisan trench. So, and I'll take a cue from Randy. There's no doubt that free SHS has improved hugely educational outcomes at the secondary school level. You can't run away from that conclusion. Yes, there has to be improvement. Nobody would doubt that. Even today, when you go to Scandinavia, they will be talking about improvement to the educational system. And Scandinavia is known to have some of the highest standards when it comes to education in the world. But even there, when you go to America today, they will be talking about, because it's a moving scenario. And as you go along, there will be new challenges. And so you have to keep improving. And so improving free SHS to get more people, to reduce the burdens, to still reduce the burden. I mean, those are things that we can look at. There's no debate about it. I mean, this business of our friend, the gentleman said, the cost has been reduced by just about 23%. So there's another 70% that 70% is still a barrier. But the burden has been reduced by free SHS. You can run away from it. So how do we reduce the burden from 70% to 50% or even 60%? then you have to tinker with the system. I'm partial to this proposal that not even LEAP. I don't know if the LEAP criteria is comprehensive yet.
That's just one of the ways.
But what I would favor is the means testing.
Yes.
And the means testing is just there. I mean, you can't come from a basic school where you are paying 10,000 cedis a term, and then you go to GSTS
for free.
For free.
Or for 23% free.
And the GSTS or Accra Academy, the fee is maybe 2,000 cedis or 2,500. So you can't.
And you paid that 10,000 for 9 years.
For
you
9
didn't
years.
need the state support.
So any review will use just that criteria. And I can tell you.
And somebody from Sefi somewhere, you know, who really can't pay the 2,000.
Yes. Can't pay the prospectus.
Yes. And the numbers involved, because when you go to many of these big schools, they are populated by children, our children. So the numbers are huge. So that alone.
Accra Academy is now 4,500.
So that alone can save a lot of money that can be used to reduce. So there's no debate that there can be improvement if the burden that has been taken off is 23. How do we move it to, say, 40%? What are some of the things we can do and so on? But in terms of enrollment, the access of Ghanaian children to secondary school, Free-SHS has done dramatically well for them. In terms of even the outcomes, where one fear was that because of the numbers, you're going to have outcomes affected. But even when you look at outcomes, since the first graduates started coming out in 2020, the outcomes have been spectacular. But there still would have to be improvement. If you look at the new NPP manifesto that's championed by Baumia, he's promised that they would improve it. You people too say you would improve it.
So there are two things that make me cringe. You know? And I'm taking off from where you landed. Now, if after all the performance, only 40% can proceed to tertiary, only 12% have what is referred to as skill-based training, we have a big problem.
But you would agree that only 40%, you say, will proceed to tertiary. So the tertiary is not increasing in tandem with the secondary school increasing. But a lot of people would also have secondary education, which they would otherwise not have. So that's a major improvement there. So, of course, one of the challenges there then would be how to increase the outcome for university or tertiary education, TVET. Even this new emphasis on TVET. For me, the biggest challenge we even have in education, apart from equipping people with secondary school education that they would otherwise not have. Even if you are a truck pusher and you have secondary school education, it will affect the way you push the truck. But for me, the biggest challenge is that how do you convert your education into employment? For me, that's really the
So the 12% have an advantage.
Yes.
Because theirs is skill-based.
Yes.
The rest, the 80
so
whatever percent, 88% don't have that advantage.
So we need to move the emphasis into skill-based education, so that you come from all that education and you have a 50% chance of employing yourself. So we need to improve the syllabus, the training, to ensure that students who come out, because even though we are talking about the increased enrollment, and Free-SHS has increased enrollment by 60%, it is good for the personal improvement of the individual who would otherwise not have it. But if they come out and they are not they now must run to people like you to go and look for work for them. And you know the funny thing.
How many jobs will hire
when people,
a secondary school graduate?
People will come to you, Randy, who, or Okujetua Blakwa, who's a member of parliament, and they will tell you that, oh, my child now is finished the university or has finished secondary school, and can you try and get him? And then they'll tell you, you know, custom. They would mention
yeah, where
the places where
they know where sweet.
Now I'm working at the STC.
Yeah.
So if you even came and said, is it possible you can fix my child as, you know, somebody in your ticketing department or sales or whatever? No, they will tell you immigration, customs, the ports. They, you know, and then you look at the CV. So what's going to qualify this person to be at this place and not that place? So for me, the biggest challenge, whether it's free SHS or non-free SHS, is how to provide training for our children to give them a 50% chance of working for themselves.
Post-secondary,
post-university.
Okay. So, Nana, can we look at this one too? Like Kofi made the point, you need to survive basic school in order to enjoy secondary school.
Yeah.
The data shows that 6 out of the 16 regions, the 5 northern regions plus OT, it is only a maximum of 30% who survive basic school to even have the possibility
to go to secondary. That means they don't pass the... Because
they don't finish, they don't conclude.
They drop out of primary school.
Yes.
Why?
70%. So one of the reasons he gave was that most of the schools, they don't have GSS.
They don't have GSS.
So they have up to primary 6.
Lack of access.
Then they don't have GSS. So they need to go maybe some 15 kilometers or others to go and access a GSS.
Yeah.
So that was one of the key things. So we've made GSS 3 the termination point.
Yeah.
However, you still have a lot of schools in those regions where it is only up to either primary 6.
They don't have GSS.
They don't have GSS. That 1, 2, 3, Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, they don't have it.
But so we started this GSS in Rawlins's time.
Yes.
And we still don't have GSS attached
many
to
places. Many places. Yeah. So that is also an issue. Now, if you even come to the 10 regions, as many as 30% do not even survive basic school in order to even make...
To go and enjoy the free SHS.
Yes.
Because the basic school is inadequate.
Although basic school is even free.
Because they also don't have the GSS.
Many reasons beyond that as well.
Like what?
It could be finance.
But
because you know,
is free.
Primary school, but FQ is free. So it's capitation.
Yeah.
But there are then costs. The capitation is the state's cost.
Yeah.
But like it's been demonstrated with the secondary one, when you sit back with the notion that the cost picked up by the state is the entire cost. That's where you lose it.
At the primary school level.
Yes. So just as at secondary school, data has shown that...
So primary school, you don't pay fees.
Yes.
And
just like secondary.
Yes, and then you also have free food.
Once.
With the free aid. So what are the main costs there? That limit access at primary school?
It could be transport, it could be, there are other things.
Yeah. Because normally you are supposed to attend primary school in your vicinity.
Yes.
Every village or town has a primary school. They used to be called LA primary schools. No, they are still there. So I don't know where...
There are lots of these schools that don't have a JHS attached.
Yeah, okay. So then you have to travel to another town.
To another
but
town.
with this, started this JSS like 30 years ago.
Yes.
So that is why, when we were at the ministry, when we saw the data, we were frightened. That's why we introduced the complementary basic education. So if you look at the ME's data, it says under the complementary basic education program, introduced to rope in out-of-school children, 24,117. Can you imagine? Look at the numbers. 24,117 children were enrolled in 2013, 2014 in the Northern, Upper East, Western, and Brong-Ahafo regions. In 2014, 2015, 45,000 were enrolled. Another 55,000 are due for enrollment at the beginning of the 2015-2016 academic year.
So these are people who are dropped out.
Who are dropped out.
Of primary school?
Yes. So that is why we met...
Now, do we find out why they drop out? It's supposed to be compulsory.
Yes. So there is
free compulsory universal basic education.
So there is the issues with distance, lack of JHS attached to the primary schools. That's why we're doing more of 9-unit construction. Then there have been the extreme poverty.
I think even the assumptions of cost.
So though you see, you won't pay fees, there's capitation, but they must provide uniforms. That's why we're doing these free uniforms.
Things have
free
changed.
Sandals,
So things have changed.
That's
what
why,
we assume
that's why
the
even we do.
There are other
we
things
do
that
we
are
do
the costs.
we do school feeding. We do school feeding and all of that. You must commend President Kufuor for introducing that. So all of these things have been identified as barriers. Just sometimes because of food, because you walk that long distance.
Yeah.
Energy is sapped away, and there's no food at the school. Do you know that when school feeding was introduced by President Kufuor, it affected enrollment numbers in those schools. So some schools were even collapsing. So headmasters will come and say, "Oh, because you didn't give us free school feeding, we are losing our students to the next, school next door, who are free feeding." So the cost barriers are many.
But he said, Randy, you said something to review constantly. But the free SHS is only 7 years old.
Yes,
it's only 7, and a review is necessary at this stage. And I'm happy that both parties have all agreed that this is a good thing and all have committed to improving it. I'm very happy because there was a time when we were told that free SHS was not possible. But now we've all come to the middle and want to do something that way. There's always, even from where I sit, I've not been in education or something. This feeding, when we're talking about the free food, we hear of the complaints about the free food. People are given contract to supply food to specific schools. In that process, there doesn't seem to be any competition. So you are given a contract to supply food to Bubuashi, Manchagbona or something. It's a contract for 1 year. There's no competition.
And even that we brought our petty politics there. It's going to women organizers.
Yeah, all of us. You did it. We're also doing it. Even if you want to use women organizers or whatever, introduce competition. Do it well.
Yeah.
If you license 5 caterers to a school,
have standards.
If you license 5 caterers to a school, then the children have options.
Yes.
With your 1 cedi 20 pesos.
No, I'm saying no. They have options in the sense
work on that as well.
Yeah, but you do know how much you give for each kid.
Yeah, but they are
1 cedi 20 pesos.
Yeah, but
yes,
work on
but
that.
that can be improved.
Yeah.
But if people like you and me are paying, that they can then increase the fees, the school fee.
Yes.
But you see, even if it's 1 cedi, as we speak, there's a clamor for it. Yeah. So if there's a clamor for it, introduce competition. Get 4 caterers for each school. So the children have a choice. If your wache is not good, the children will not buy it.
Just like those who sell commercially there.
And so naturally, everybody, you have an inbuilt mechanism to improve the quality of food. But if you give one woman the contract for one school, there's no competition. So whatever she provides, that's what the children are going to eat. So as for improvement, for such a major initiative like Free SHS, which has had so much implication for enrollment and all of that, I mean, there will be teething problems, and any call for improvement is welcome. And I'm happy that both parties are committed to improving it. But it is something that is monumental in terms of its impact on our educational system at the secondary school level. We have to do the backward linkage with primary school, and we have to do the forward linkage with the universities. But for me, the crucial thing is how do we train our children? So when they finish secondary school or they finish university, they will not come to you, Randy Abe, you work at Metro TV. And then the father will come to you and say, go and find a job for them at immigration.
Because they see the Minister of Interior on Good Morning.
So that we can have a system where the children themselves, whilst they are in school, the 3-4 years they are at university, they are eager to come out and start their own business because of what they have been, the way they have been trained and the skills they have been taught.
So I'll show you something. Kofi Azar is still following the conversation. I says there's a complementary basic education program still ongoing, what Samuel referred to.
Yeah.
And it says that aiming to enroll 75,000 out-of-school children. It is progressing well up north, but the scope is limited. Besides, we need strategies to prevent, not to remedy dropouts.
Yeah.
Now it says an SHS graduate is less likely to enter apprenticeship compared to a JHS graduate. The pressure on employment is more when more SHS graduates are produced without skills than when more BEC graduates were produced without skills. Many public basic schools in urban Ghana are full, no admission. If you do not have cash for private, you drop out. And it gives an example of the Adenta Community Basic School. Now it says if you go to the Adenta municipality, 90% of the basic schools there are private, so 10% are public. And there's so much pressure on this school that I have 2 photographs to show you. Now, this is Adenta Community JHS. This is a JHS which is under tree. Adenta.
In Adenta.
Adenta here, that's the picture.
My goodness.
So I'm showing you 2 pictures. This is Adenta Community JHS here in Accra. The JHS is under tree. The JHS is under tree.
When you say community, what do you mean?
The Adenta Community. That's the name. Community
Oh, that's
JHS.
the name of
Yes.
the school.
So this is a JHS. It is under tree here in Adenta, not Yankpanduri or something.
Yeah.
And it's already full. So if you take just Adenta,
This one is full.
it's
The one
full.
that tree.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
full.
so you can-
It's full. So if you live in Adenta community, only 10% of the basic schools there are public. 90% are private. And the 10% there, they are also full. To the extent that this is the JHS. It's even under
So
tree.
this is public.
Yeah,
This is public.
Clearly an overflow.
Yeah.
You know,
Huge overflow.
and what happens when it rains? You know?
But you know, the way the population of this country increases, and we do population census every 10 years, but it doesn't look like our planning
and investments
is in tandem with the population census that we spend a lot of money to do. In the first place, there's a rough correlation between population and economic growth. The correlation is that your economy must be growing at 3 times the rate that the population is growing. To be able to cater for the, to be able to maintain the existing services, your economy must be growing 3 times. Now our population is growing at about 2% a year. What it means is that our economy must be growing at about 6% on the average. And then to be able to improve, that's provide more quality, it must grow about 8-9%. And you've had this situation where our economy, the average growth for the last 10-15 years is below 6%. So the economic growth is key. I mean, if you are a family and you are working at Metro TV and your salary is 1,000 cedis and your wife's salary is 1,000 cedis and you have 3 children or 3 children, you are taking them to good primary schools and all of that on that 2,000 family salary, and your wife's next pregnancy brings triplets, so immediately the children increase from 3 to 6, and you are still earning that 2,000 cedi, both of you. The standard of the family will drop. So this basic unit scenario applies to the national unit.
Except that I will add very forcefully that even with the lack of commensurate
economic growth,
when you interrogate what we do with the little we generate, very poor prioritization.
Yeah,
you know.
And
I mean,
politicians
Nana Akomia may say, Nana Akomia may accuse me of partisaning this discussion, but $58 million on the world's most expensive pit Should that have been done? Should that have started? National Cathedral. Is that something that any leader with schools and their trees in the capital had done? $58 million.
But why I agree with you?
Thrown away.
Why I agree
$12
with
million on a Japa.
No,
$2 million on a Sky Trade.
Why I agree with you is if you want to partisan it, then you tempt me to mention all kinds of wastage.
I just think that we should be brutally frank about
but
these
then do your frankness across. If you do it across, then you are being objective. Otherwise, you force me to mention some of the spending.
The disadvantage you have is that you are in power.
Yes,
that's a disadvantage.
Yes, but we are talking of.
Let's tell our leaders in the face. You see, that's why I'm big on this
one of
public
the things that upsets me. And I was speaking about it. I don't want to mention the kind of things that you people spend money on.
No. You can bash us if we accept it in good faith.
But one of the things that
I don't know of any NDC leader who decided to do a national cathedral.
The cost of political administration.
The cost of political administration. Explain it.
You mean the bureaucratic costs?
No. Well, but you have 200 parliamentary seats.
Yeah, now 270.
You increase it by 75 across regimes.
Yeah.
For what purpose?
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. Same with district
for
assemblies.
What purpose?
Yeah.
Gerrymandering.
Yeah.
Both NPP and DC.
I agree with you.
But it comes at a huge cost.
Yeah, the number of ministers.
That we could use to do some of this.
Number of ministers. The number of ministries. Yeah.
We all promise we'll reduce it. When we can, we don't. We don't.
Yeah. And with what is happening with your size of campaign team and manifesto team, it's clear you can't even campaign. You can't even rein in the numbers.
The campaign, Randy, tell him.
Campaign.
The campaign team is 40. It's 40 people.
Oh, but the list that your comms director released is not 40.
Which one? Which list?
They released a list. The list that people are saying that they were not consulted.
I saw over 300.
No, that is the manifesto.
That's manifesto.
Okay.
But the campaign is 40. You release your campaign, let us see the list. But you should know that the campaign team members, nobody is.
For the one that you advise is 40.
Yes. There's no.
Even that should be 40.
There's no use.
Should be 40.
Hold on. There's no use of public funds. Nobody is paid a peso. It's just a call to service. But we willfully increase parliamentary seats by 75. Each MP, additional MP. You even take away.
But we didn't start with 200. It was much lower, right?
No, we started with 200.
In 93?
No, I mean the Fourth Republic. We started with 200.
Fourth Republic. No, I think
200.
Was it 200?
Yes.
I thought it was fewer than that.
Now, let me just read this to you. It says, please tell Honorable Kumia that the way they operate at the Tudu station requires improvement. You join a queue for 30 minutes or more standing. A paper with numbers is then distributed. Later, a bus is moved to position. People enter and sit. Someone who I believe is not a staff then enters and sells tickets. Those loading the vehicles take between 15 to 30 minutes to force loads into limited spaces, not designed for loads, and subsequently the driver takes off. The worst place to sit is behind the driver, where a small platform is in front of you. It's fully loaded with little space to place your legs. Good and smooth drivers anyway. This has been my lot a few times. I couldn't buy fuel to travel to a flower.
The thing is this. What people should realize is that there are standards. You are not supposed to put luggage. So when you are holding luggage, you will not be allowed on the bus because these are mini buses with no luggage space. For to do a flower, we use mini buses, 14-seater, 16-seater.
I always see them on the
So
road.
you shouldn't be holding your potomato. When you are holding your potomato, then they come, they plead with the driver. The driver checks. They see that the supervisor is not there, or sometimes they collude. They take your potato, they put it under the seat, inconveniencing everybody, and then they take money from you and all of that. They are violating the standards. The only way we can check the standards and make sure is when we get these reports, and we have a portal. So if you're a passenger and you want it to be standards to be maintained, just take a small photograph and send it to the portal. Then we can discipline the person responsible. That's the only way that the standards can be maintained.
This one says, Intercity STC Coaches Limited are right to inquire about the procedure involved in selecting buses for Tamale Accra trips. To be very candid, most of the buses are personally bought. This one says most of the buses are personally bought from Tamale to Accra, and Accra Tamale trips are way old and have uncomfortable seats, less space even for the short-legged. On the 25th of February, the bus I boarded from Tamale to Accra.
I got this yesterday.
The person sent it to you?
Okay. And I'm happy he sent it to
you.
The thing is, our fleet is due for renewal.
Mm-hmm.
It's 4 years old. And normally, when buses do 200,000 kilometers, you sell them.
Okay.
And then somebody will put them Accra or Doko.
Okay.
Those ones are short trips. You don't put them 30-hour trips and so on. Our fleet has to be changed because they are 4 years old. These days it's difficult to get money from the banks to do that. So we are looking at alternative arrangements. We are hoping that when those arrangements come into fruition, we'll change the entire fleet. In the meantime, you have to manage. This particular bus, there was a problem. In fact, the bus actually continued to Tamale. There was a problem there. The bus had to stop for about half an hour. The problem was resolved. And the same bus continued to Tamale. But the fleet is old. And we are making strenuous effort to change. So we can put these buses to the local Accra or Doko, Accra, Winneba, and take them off the international route. But you see, we do, on a weekly basis, we do about 40 buses to the north, to Wa, to Tamale, to Boga, to Navrongo, to Ouagadougou. And out of these 40 trips, you would get 2-3 buses that would develop a fault on the way. We don't have, but every week we do 40 trips to the north alone. Every week, and because the buses
is
are
one of
old,
your hottest routes.
No, the hottest route is Kumasi and the Francophonie.
Okay.
That's where you get the Kumasi. You can do 140 trips a week. So the demand there is big. But even the north, we do 40, including Ouagadougou. And because of the distance involved, and you know our roads, our highways need improvement. The roads too are not in the best of shape these days. So out of that 40, you will get 1 or 2, 3 breakdowns, and we try and resolve them. But this chap, somebody sent it to, I don't know if the same chap or somebody. But the same bus, after that 20-minute stop, continued on the way to Tamale. But essentially, we have to just change the fleet.
Okay. All right. So I'm picking up info that we'll probably be having 2 more Supreme Court judges. And so I'm still pursuing
how many are there now?
Again?
I don't know. But that's
some are
news that
retiring.
I'm picking up. So I'm still.
How many are retiring this year?
I have to check. We'll have to check on that. Now.
I think Parliament must go on break on these approvals.
Okay.
When are we going to vet the ministers?
We've just had enough.
From Tuesday.
From Tuesday.
Next week.
But he has resigned from that committee.
Yes, he's not on it.
So you'll not be taking back.
Doc, you were moving to the next issue.
Actually, we have closed.
Just 1 minute on your issue with all the Africa Games. They've issued a statement.
Yes, I saw that.
And they're saying that you claim that they are going to spend some fabulous amount of money on a 3-week tournament, and that you get it wrong. They've been working for the last 3 years or so, and operational expenses has to do with all what they've been doing. They listed a lot of things that they're spending money on, and so they say you got it wrong. Subsequently, they will give the details to Ghanaians.
You've
seen it.
If they hadn't issued that statement, it would have helped them. You see, they haven't addressed the fundamental issue,
which is
Parliament approved 100 million cedis for them.
When?
In the 2024 budget. If you read page 232 of this budget, yeah, page 232 of the budget, the item 31, All Africa Games, 100 million for their goods and services.
That should be.
That's just about $8 million.
Yes.
You know, they've gone to add $40 million to it.
Huh?
When I intercepted that letter dated 13th February, signed by the executive chairman of the LOC, I was shocked. What's happening here? 48 already. We have supposedly spent $195 million on infrastructure alone. They are yet to give us a breakdown for that. Then, when we thought that they would not go beyond $8 million, maximum $10 million, based on what Parliament has approved, we intercept this document, and it's $48 million.
But where is the spend going to come from? If it's not in a budget,
yeah,
and it's not, because you say now that contingency vote is no more.
Yes.
So where are they going to get the money?
Well, we've said they should create a contingency fund. Go back to Article 177. So there is still money in the contingency. And consistently, that ministry, they always come back to us with budget overruns. The last time they took 77 million from the contingency, and we suspect that that's what is going to happen again. Because don't believe this claim that they are going to raise the rest from fundraising. Fundraising is not going well. The tracking I have done, Ghana Gas has given them $500,000, not the $5 million they asked for. Bost has given them $500,000, not the $5 million they asked for. The meetings the president chaired on the 6th and 7th of November, a lot of them have not responded. And you see, the president also should not be placing himself at the center of these violations, when there's a clear amount which has been approved. So, number one, they have not addressed that fundamental issue on why they have gone beyond what they told Parliament they would need. Number two, they are still telling us that they cannot give us a breakdown unless after the games. And yet, they say that they know they need $48 million. So the logical question we are asking is, how did they come to the conclusion that they need $48 million beyond what Parliament has approved? And yet, they can't give us that breakdown. At least share it with us. Tell us, how did you come to this conclusion that you need? And you see, let's be careful. The quantums of money, we're just talking about our priorities as a country. This, if you add infrastructure and this 48, $243 million. The last time Morocco hosted this tournament, they spent 46 million euros.
Maybe they had the facilities.
Yeah,
already.
probably.
Yeah.
But you see, Australia has pulled out of the Commonwealth Games. That they can't host it. And the Australian economy is doing far better than us. So, you see, a bailout country seeking an IMF,
my worry is this.
Bailout.
And we're talking about this thing last week.
You see, everybody is like a blank check.
This backwards and forwards. I don't know how it helps us. So a member of parliament makes some allegations based on information that he has. Is out there. The agency involved also makes some response based on their own information. Is out there. And we're talking about parliament.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't parliament, which oversees the public purse, summon the agency to come to parliament tomorrow?
Do you intend to
so that we would see the MP or MPs with their findings and concerns, and the public agency?
Yeah, I agree. That's why we are getting frustrated.
Because
look, the last time we were talking about the 702 referrals to committee spending.
There's a sports committee.
Yeah. Yeah, there is.
Or agent question.
Sorry.
Or agent question.
Or even agent question.
You know how many agent questions are still.
This is what we're talking about. Yes.
Months.
There's an agent question. The speaker has to admit the agent question. The matter of the speaker admitting an urgent question like this is now known.
Yeah.
We know there will be no aid. So you file an urgent question, the speaker admits it, the minister will be compelled to come to parliament with his officials to deal with it. But I would prefer the committee on sports to call all the parties and say, show me your documents, show me your justification. So we can resolve these matters.
Right.
And now that we have this kind of makeup in parliament, if we still can't do this, then I don't know.
Okay.
No, I agree with you.
All right. So he's an academic, top notch, and also a politician. He's 66 today.
Who's that?
Professor Joshua Alabi. Today is his 66th
Oh,
birthday.
wow.
Yes, so he's 66 today. So Professor Alabi.
You didn't add that he's a great boxer too.
Incidental.
I have to organize one with Nana Butler.
Incidentally.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Professor.
Yes, he said incidentally.
I was in Parliament with him.
Yes.
Yeah, he and E.T. Mensah.
Yes.
Great friends.
Yes.
That
MP
time.
for Krowa.
Krowa, Nungwa.
Yes.
These are your constituencies and their names. They are so confusing. Something we should look at. Because if you say Krowa, the average person doesn't know Krowa.
Yes.
But it's Nungwa.
Yes.
Why we can't call it Nungwa constituency?
It's like La Dade Kotoka.
Is that because the constituency goes beyond the Nungwa township?
Yes, but the Nungwa.
So Nungwa is the capital.
So when you say Nungwa constituency, and if there's a significant settlement, you can add it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we have for Adenta.
Adenta, what is it called?
Yeah,
Adenta
constituency. They have Glacia, Manfro.
And there are many constituencies in Ashanti. They will say, where is Fosukwachi going?
AAK.
Of course, he's going to lose. But look at
it. He's already won. He's already won. But he
barely won the primaries. It's called.
You're wrong.
It's called
what?
Asebu Kwamankese.
Yes.
So there's no ambiguity. I can tell you.
Yes.
People come to me on all kinds of issues that ask them, which constituency are you?
Yeah.
They don't know. Who's your MP?
Nana, do you know the MP for AAK?
The MP for AAK?
Yeah, your own MP. Do you know him?
No. But the numbers are so many. You have 275.
Yes, you say Felix is going to lose. Felix is not there yet.
But happy 66th birthday to you, Professor Joshua Alabi. Happy 66th birthday to you.
No, I'll tell you the incidental thing.
Okay.
Just 2 days ago, I was reading some stuff and I came across what he said against John Mahama in 2020.
Okay.
Yes, and I just laughed.
Okay.
I was going to repeat it because it's his birthday.
It's now the
today is also
fiercest campaign.
Today is also the birthday of Nathaniel Kwabena Edisi. I'm sure a lot of you don't know that name. Nathaniel Kwabena Edisi. You all know him as Bolare. So today is also his birthday.
Show his head.
So happy.
Show his head.
The head might not go on the screen.
Okay. Then
so Bolare, happy birthday to you.
Nana is so mean.
And it's also, meanwhile, he will say I'm mischievous.
Yes, so mean and mischievous.
No. Today is also a birthday. Okay, so that's it. You see, the head is going beyond the thing.
But Randy, I mean, you showed Alabi.
Yes.
And I said, why show Bolare?
You see the head is gone. You see the head is gone out of there.
You should have show Bolare, not show his head. Why did you?
So, Bolas, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. And also, Godwin Mensah of CBG, it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you, Godwin Mensah of CBG from Agbeko, Ben Kofi, and all your friends.
So, Bola hosted you recently.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you couldn't decide between Nana Akufo-Addo and President Kufuor, who is the best? I'm told you dodged that question.
Oh no, Bola.
I saw a headline.
But you know the headline.
That you dodged.
It's not I didn't dodge.
Bola dodges a silver bullet.
Yes. No, Bola asked me who I think is the best president.
Yes.
And I said
between the two.
And I said Kufuor's finished his 8 years. Akufo-Addo is yet to finish. So let's wait for Akufo-Addo to finish his 8 years.
Okay.
And then we can be sitting back and review.
Okay. So that's your answer.
That was my answer.
Okay. So that was a very political answer. I'm not sure that is a difficult question at all.
Very, very political.
But is the answer not the best answer?
Between
in your situation, I understand.
The man has had 7 years.
Your situation, I understand. But
is this
the easiest question for anybody?
Is this few weeks?
Up next, Metro Sports.
You went to Parliament of Ghana. Why did you do that? Parliament was in session. They are debating the State of the Nation address. And you got your men out there to disconnect the arm of government, I mean, the legislature. Why so?
You said Parliament
was
working.
Yes.
What was ECG doing?
ECG was working.
Okay. Next question.
Morning Ghana is brought to you by MTN.
My friend, I am heading to Tesano for Sebo's brand launch, and you're coming with me if you want. I will also be taking you to meet the former French ambassador. Together,